Alright, yo. What is up, everybody? How are we all doing tonight? Welcome to the second episode of Forewarnings with Reaver. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful night tonight, or a wonderful day, or whenever you may be watching this for anyone in the future. We got a few topics to cover today. We're going to be looping back on some other games that we've already talked about on previous shows, some things I said I was going to follow up on. Upcoming releases and a couple reviews here and there. So, we're going to start off basically like right where we left off on the last episode with The Division and Hitman 6. I got my boy Spy here. Me and Spy have been playing the shit out of The Division. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, honestly have been having some fun with The Division. You know? Like, it's definitely going like a lot better than I ever thought it would be. I definitely like didn't have like high expectations for this going into it, but basically like everything I said last time I was like pretty much right about, but it's still, it's like something that I've just realized over time is that these games have like the perfect they're like really good social games. They just provide like a really good atmosphere to like just talk to people. It's like they're fun, but they're only fun as long as like you have literally anyone interesting to talk to in the game. Like, it's like as soon as I end up like playing by myself, it's like it all just kind of like goes away.
True.
Yeah.
Definitely would not recommend The Division if you're playing it by yourself.
Yeah, try and solo this shit, and you'll just want to like fucking blow your brains out. Like it's like way easier with like a bunch of people too. Like trying to solo it, like. Well, one of the things that I was actually kind of worried about on the last episode of Forewarnings was actually that, that combat was going to be too slow paced, like with enemies just like popping out behind cover and just be like shooting like wooden targets at a range or something. Turns out that's not true at all. Enemies seem to have almost no regard for cover. They just rush the shit out of you forever, unless they're a sharpshooter or an engineer, in which they hide behind cover forever while everyone else rushes you. Like...
Yeah. What's super cool about it, what I like about it, is that everyone's super tanky in that game. It's like it's nice and evened out somewhat.
Yeah, that was something else too. Like, everyone kept saying over and over that I should like play on hard and everything. It turns out that was like a huge fucking mistake. Darkspy here like leveled past me in half the time just by playing on normal difficulty, because it's like the loot is better, but it's like what like the mission rewards are like, not much better. Like I think you get more experience for killing enemies too, but it's like every enemy has like fucking triple health on hard and shit. It just takes so long, dude. Like so many bullet sponges. It's just so boring. Something else I said I was gonna try and do last time was I was gonna try and learn some more about the Dark Zone. I learned some more about the Dark Zone. I'm not really digging it. Spy here says that I should give it like another chance.
I freaking love the Dark Zone, pretty much, just because it's like there's brief moments of intensity in that game. Like it's like if you ever played DayZ before, like like most of the time it's pretty much like a marathon simulator, but then like there's some really really good moments that make it worth playing. That's what the Dark Zone is to me. Like, you really got to sink your teeth in for a while before you can.
Dude, I'm fucking definitely not a fan of the way the Dark Zone is laid out. Like I think the Dark Zone is like one of the worst designed areas in the entire fucking game, just because there's so many dead ends in the Dark Zone, dude. Like I feel like everywhere I go, it's like it just feels like really cramped. It's like if you don't want to get caught in a dead, like you can see the Dark Zone on the video over there. Like if you don't want to get caught in a dead end, like you just have to like go forward. It's like if you try and go left or right, you just run into like alleyways, and it's really easy to get stuck back there.
That's why you don't go rogue. Kidding.
Yeah, Spy's definitely not a fan of Rogue Fever.
At least if there's at least loot in the end of it, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, like I was just killing motherfuckers that didn't even have any loot. So I mean, to me, it felt like there wasn't like it's heavily advertised as being like a whole like PvP thing or whatever, but it's like it seems like it just feels like the rewards for going rogue are like they're not very good as opposed to like not going rogue, and just getting the loot like regular style.
Granted, we were level 18, like we're around there when we went in there, so see. I'm not too experienced with like high level Dark Zone and whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely like want to touch base on the Division like even more. Like after me and Spy like both finish the game, I'll probably have him on again, you know, to give like some final thoughts on it or whatever.
hopefully still as positive.
Yeah, hopefully.
Really liking it.
Maybe by the time that we end. Yo, when are the raids supposed to come out? Like, I didn't even know that there were supposed to be raids.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
maybe.
sure. Maybe we can talk about those a little bit.
Maybe
next time
in
as well.
April. Maybe. Not sure.
That far away?
Maybe.
I figured it'd probably just be like 2 weeks from release or whatever, like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, well, and you know, like what I said like last time, like still kind of stands as far as like most of like your more interesting combat options are basically just like in the fucking the grenades and everything. But it's like even then, it feels like 99% of the time you're just like unloading like magazine after magazine into the enemies. You know, it's just like standard like loot shooter kind of stuff. You know, like you just want to shoot enemies to get harder guns, to shoot harder enemies to get harder guns, and so on and so forth.
I like it. It's something else to dig into other than Call of Duty, because that's like the only other shooter I could think of at the moment where it's like that much multiplayer. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is like you know, like I was saying earlier, it's like really good just to like kick it. You know, just like it's not like very intensive. You know, like it has like intense moments, but it's like overall, it's like it's mostly just about like hunkering down like behind like a little chest high wall with like 3 of your best buddies or whatever, and shooting at shit until the shit stops coming.
There's no crouch button in that game, by the way.
Yeah,
There's
dude,
no
fucking,
crouch.
oh my god, like that was so fucking irritating. Like, well, yo, and something else that like I never would have thought about the Division. It's actually buggy as shit. There's so many bugs in that game. Like, it's so easy to just get like stuck in the terrain.
Didn't you get stuck when we played? I think I remember that now.
Yeah, there was one time I got revived at the same time I was supposed to be auto-revived, and I was just like stuck on my knees, and I just like couldn't fucking stand up. And then there have been other times where people get like stuck behind like walls, stuck inside walls, stuck in inaccessible areas, and all sorts of shit like that. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, shit like this shouldn't be happening that much in a AAA game like this, you know? It's like, the thing is it would be one thing if it just happened like a couple of times, so I can think of like 10 different moments that it happened, and the worst part is that there's like no real way to like fix it aside from like fast traveling away, but sometimes it's not an option. Just all sorts of bullshit like that happening all the time. Well, Spy,
well, one other thing I want to touch base with is,
yeah,
aside from the map not being like super huge, there's a lot of verticality to it, both above and below ground. Like you can go underground, you can go to like the tallest skyscraper in the game, which I think is pretty cool.
yeah,
Not that exaggerated, but
yeah. In the
for.
environments as well, they also have like a bit more like diversity than I initially led on to, but it's like 99% of the game still like looks really fucking similar, you know. Like, especially like a lot of the above ground areas, you know, especially they have that like snow filter or whatever, so it's like you can't even like see shit that's like more than like 100 yards in front of you or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, everything just looks like I Am Legend with like snow on it. You know, shame that you can't play as Will Smith in this game. But anyways, we're gonna move right on over to Hitman 6, another game that I said I was gonna touch base on. And give you guys a little more info on it. Yo, honestly, fucking, you know, a lot better than I expected. Like, it actually, you know, last time I said that it felt more like Absolution than Blood Money. After having some time to play with it, it definitely feels more like classic Hitman games than Absolution. It's like they took Absolution and just stripped away like all the shitty parts. They just, you know, they put disguises like closer to like their classic iteration. There's no more of that like dumbass like hiding your face shit. You know, and it's like all 3 of the levels that are available so far, since it's an episodic game, like in the first episode, like the first 3 levels. You know, they're pretty open. They have like a lot of different like routes that you can go along. They have waypoints for like different solutions to like the assassinations and everything. I'm kind of like mixed on that. Like, I like the fact that they're there, but you know, I feel like I had more fun like not using them.
Yeah, I know what I've heard and seen. There's not too much gore in that game, but it's like still like killing people with that game's like pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like since it is like a Hitman game, you know, you can expect all sorts of like kooky ass assassinations, like dropping chandeliers on people and drowning people in toilets and nailing people in the face with screwdrivers.
This particular one I haven't seen, like I haven't like played it, but I've seen a lot of gameplay for it. Granted, I'm not super like a huge I didn't play too much Hitman growing up. I played the PS2 game once, and then I played Absolution for like I think about 30 minutes to 1 hour, and those were pretty cool.
Yeah, like my biggest recommendation is that like especially if you're a fan of the older Hitman games, definitely fucking just at least like just pick up the intro pack because the thing is you can play the first 3 levels, get a taste if it's like what you're wanting, and then if you think that you would appreciate this game, either if you were a fan of Absolution or the classic Hitman games, you can just throw down another $50 for like the rest of the episodes or whatever. Um,
What was the first episode of it? Like, what
well,
was it?
that's actually it was that fashion show. It's like the first like real assassination takes place during a fashion show and an auction on in this like, this big ass mansion. Like on the first 2 floors, it's like a big like fashion show and everything, and you have to assassinate. By the way, they're like secret agents or something. I don't remember like the context, but there's like a reason. There's like a big reason to assassinate these people, but I can't really remember all the details. They're like part of like a rival intelligence agency to the one that you're like employed by. Um, but yeah, basically you just want to assassinate like these 2 people who, one of them's running an auction and the other one's running a fashion show. And there's like all sorts of cool stuff you can do, like dressing up and pretending to be like one of the runway models. Like I think that there's like some cool shit you can do up in the auction house that has to do with like pretending to be like a client for the lady running the auction, and then you can assassinate her like that way as well. I, on the other hand, threw a screwdriver right in that bitch's face, but that's what sandbox games are all about, right?
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, $15 for the first few episodes. That's like $5 a level. It's okay. Lots of challenges. There's all sorts of. I mean, like that's like the main takeaway that I had from my initial experience with Hitman 6 is that there weren't any like cover shooter like corridor segments or whatever. It was just a it just puts you like right in there at the scene of the assassination. You have the entire level to play with for the assassination.
There's no timer on that game, is there? It's just do it
No,
whenever you can.
I mean, there's like challenges for like completing it in like certain amounts of time. But yeah, like I think for the first like real assassination, like my final mission time was like 41 minutes or something.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, like a lot of content like out of one mission, which is definitely a lot better than Absolution, where it was like walk up here, press X, and there you go. Like I think Absolution only had like a handful of real assassinations, and they were like really small sections of the level instead of the entire level.
I know. It looks nice. Like I don't like I said I don't know too
Yeah,
much
I mean,
about Hitman overall, but like watching just a few gameplay trailers of it and a few huge streamers playing it, like when they throw on disguises, they're actually somewhat believable, and like the only like the head honchos who run like
right,
everyone
yeah.
like the guy who like tells the waiters what to do, he'll figure it out. Like, hey, wait a sec, I don't know this guy. I didn't hire him.
Yo, so, something else that I think is really interesting is that like if you're caught trespassing, they don't just like shoot at you immediately. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing here? All right, follow me, buddy. You got to get out of here right now." And they like escort you like off the fucking premises. So that was like cool as fuck to me the first time it happened. Like
That's good.
I thought I was just gonna like die or fail the mission, but nah, he was super chill about it. Yeah, just infiltrating a highly secret area of of a mansion, but it's definitely like. I mean, the thing is, if they just like shot you straight up, that would be like a whole fucking police investigation. But they're just like, you didn't
Yeah,
see anything. Get the fuck out of here.
that would be a little much if you thought about it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, if you were, I mean, I'm not like a fan of the fact that they're doing this in episodes. Like, I understand like episodic content for like story-based games. Not a big fan of it for games that mainly rely on gameplay, like Hitman always has and always should, like for the future. Um, but I do think it like does present like a pretty unique opportunity that it's like a try before you buy kind of thing. It's like if you want to spend $15 and just play the first 3 levels, and you're like, well, this is bullshit. You just don't play them anymore. I wish that
I
we
don't know
still
how I feel
I wish
about
that
it.
we still had like free demos, like, but it feels like free demos are like a thing in the past.
I know times with changes nowadays.
Yeah, times are changing. Times are always changing, dude. Fucking,
I
it
know.
feel, dude. I mean, well, the thing is, it's like, but all right. So, by the way, to go back and touch base, the Division, I would not pay $60 for that. Hitman Absolute or Hitman 6, I'll probably pay for the rest of that. Um, but speaking of games that are overpriced as fuck, this one right here is one that's very near and dear to my heart. Someone was kind enough to give me this game, but I do not think that I would have paid $25 for this. Like, I probably would have, tried to find a copy out there on the high seas of the internet if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. There's a little game right here called Super Hot. It's a action puzzle game based around time manipulation. Like, time only moves when you perform actions. So whenever you're walking or whenever you're shooting, like, time only moves in that, same duration that you're moving. And it lets you do all this, like, crazy badass shit. It's like the Max Payne games. It's like one of the coolest things about that was like going into like bullet time and like jumping up in the air and like killing 3 people. That's like what this entire game is all about. And it's like, even with like this whole bullet time manipulation thing or whatever, the game still gets like really damn hard sometimes, like especially in the endless mode and in some of the challenges. Like, but the biggest problem is that the main story is only like 2 hours long. Like, I feel like that's like, I feel like if the story is only going to be 2 hours long, like, I feel like that should be, like, your main price point. Like, the main content in the game, like, because you can't always rely on players playing all the side content. The main content needs to justify the price in and of itself, but I feel like Super Hot doesn't really quite do that.
You know what I really like about Super Hot? Granted, I've seen gameplay again, but I haven't played it because, I'm super cheap. But Super Hot, it's the arts, the style of it is really, really, really simplistic, and it's easy to pick up.
Yeah, it's super sexy. Like, Super Hot, mainly just revolves around like 3 main colors. Like, you can see it on the screen right now. It's basically just white, black, and red with like little tinges of blue here and there for like shading or whatever. But it's like white is the environment, black are items, and red are enemies. That's all you need to know. So just at any given time, you can just pick up the entire, you can see everything you need to see. It's like, so it, it's mainly like really oriented on that action, which, is always a good thing. You guys just saw like over there on the side of the screen, like that's one of the main appeals, or that's one of the, coolest things about Super Hot to me is that every time you finish the level, it plays the level back in real time. So all that badass shit you were doing in slow motion is now going like super fast. So it's
you get to see it in real time.
Yeah, it's so dope, dude. Like, I love it. Like, it's my favorite thing. Like, especially like there's a series of challenges where you only use the katana, and fucking in that shit, I would just slice up bullets for like no reason, and then playing it back in real time, I'd just be like running down the hallway and ting ting ting, just slicing them shits up, jumping over them, throwing the sword at people, picking up people's guns, all sorts of craziness, like, it's so damn fun. Like, even if you don't want to pay for it, at least just fucking play it. Like, I promise you, it'll be probably some of the most fun you've had in like a really long time with a first-person shooter. Like, it really shakes up like the formula. It doesn't really follow like traditional like conventions of shooters in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's just so unique. Just the biggest problem is that the price is just too fucking high. It's just $25 for a 2-hour campaign. I'm sorry, but even no matter how much fun those challenges in the endless mode are, I just can't be doing it. Like, just too.
Need to pick it up. It's how much was it again? I forget.
It's $25, but every single copy of the game like there's like tons of coupons for it at like 15% off, because every copy of the game comes with like a 15% off coupon. But even at 15% off, it's still like $21 and like some odd change or something. So I mean, like, since it's an indie game, it'll probably show up in like a Humble Bundle like this winter or like next year or something for like $5. Get it then, but not really digging this price point that they have going on here. Now, speaking of things that break the mold, oh no, I misclicked. Ignore that. Speaking of things that, really mix it up and break away from some traditional, well, not really traditional conventions, but just like what I would normally look for in a game. We have Stardew Valley now. Spy, I understand you've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley lately.
Did you just say Stardew Valley?
Yeah, I just said Stardew Valley.
That farming game that I love, like, passionately. I've been playing for 5 days straight. Yes.
Yeah.
I love Stardew Valley.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's kind of like Harvest Moon, like Animal Crossing kind of thing, or like, I don't really know.
Never played Harvest Moon. Never played, but I played Animal Crossing.
Yeah, kind of right up in that same alley.
Right up the alley. I love those games, man. Most, by far, best time-consuming game you'll ever have the pleasure of playing. Unless,
Yeah.
like, of course, like, the Apple games they have on the phone and shit. But besides that, fucking love Stardew.
Yeah, it looks
Uh,
like super fucking chill. Like, so relaxing. Like,
no, it's a real simple game, pretty much. Just basically clear this land, farm this shit here, and you're good. It's pretty crazy how you get the farm. Spoilers, just throwing that out there. The story for it actually, your grandpaps gives you this envelope. He doesn't tell you right at the start, but he gives you this envelope, and he's like, "Hey, open this when you feel like you're fed up with life." And it cuts to you working your office job, all with like 9 to 5, sitting there, and it shows like a bunch of like just a lot of depressing stuff because you're sitting there just working. And he opens it up, and bam, it's the deed to the farm. And you go over there. It's real nice. The art's real simplistic, and you get to meet all the people there. It's a really fun game. It's you farm your crops, you sell them, you make sure you plant for the season, and you move on from there.
yo, maybe
Oh,
we should
goodness.
like start like trying to like sell some like almanacs or something. There's probably like a digital almanac for Stardew Valley. Is there one in the game? Like how?
It's yeah.
Yeah.
As much
Um.
as I play it, I don't know. I don't know.
um. Well, I understand that like one of the big like selling points of this game, like Animal Crossing and like Harvest Moon, is that you can like make have like relationships with like the different townspeople.
Funny story about that game. Apparently, I had a girlfriend in that game. I had no idea about it, so it's pretty cool.
How the fuck did you manage that? Like how the fuck do you?
Just give them gifts, pretty much. Each person likes their own
Oh,
like stuff. You just like
I'm
come over there, give them like a bug or something, and they'll be like a kid and they'll be super happy about it. Or if you give like an amethyst or a diamond to a girl, she'll be like, "Yo, nice."
she all about that dollar sign.
She all about that dollar sign.
That's all she give a fuck. Yo, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but it comes after that. Um, so, well, all right. Well, so like, what's like the goal? Like, is there any sort of goal or like?
I haven't figured out yet, but I know when I play it, I don't like everything else just fades away, and I just
Well,
get I like it's immersive for me.
well, how do you like lose then? Like, what's like the failure condition?
I don't think there is a failure. Like even say worst case scenario, all the crows eat your like all your crops, you lose everything, all your animals die. You can still fish and you can still visit a cave where you can go like slay like creatures, monsters, and you get paid for it. It's real crappy money, but I don't think you can fail in this game. Granted, I'm only 1 year into it in game time. IRL time, I probably have like over 60 hours in it already,
Oh damn.
and I don't think there's a fail. I don't think there's a fail.
Like, well, isn't there's like a combat element as well, right? Like,
Yes, there
yeah.
is. You go in that cave. Yeah,
Yo,
it was really interesting
is the
because
combat fun?
for me, yes, but I feel like if someone were watching me do it, it'd be like this guy's just clicking his mouse 40 times.
Well, I
But
mean, yeah, there's always going to be like that disconnect between like what's fun to watch and what's fun to play. It's like The Division, like not very fun to watch. It's all right to play. Counter-Strike, fun to watch, fun to play. Plenty of like puzzle games or whatever, like not fun to watch or fun to play. Like Undertale.
love it. Oh, Undertale, that I haven't played.
I'm just kidding. Undertale is all right. Give it a 1 out of 10. IGN says it's okay. 1 out of 10 IGN recommends.
No
Anyways, though.
worries.
Um,
Don't get me
well,
wrong, that game is like super chill, but like I've heard people rage
dude, I raged to
on
Undertale.
before. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you should have been there for it. It was pretty ugly. Um, well, so would you say that like Stardew? How much does Stardew Valley cost?
I think when I picked it up, it was like in the $15 range. I don't know if
Would
it was
you? I
on
mean, would you say
sale.
would you say it's worth it for
I
$15?
think I would pay 20 for that game, honestly. 'Cause that, Grant, I want to let y'all know I'm easy to impress. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, hey, something's if I like it, it'll be like, holy hell, let me recommend this to someone. But no, that was a fun game. I think my brother actually picked it up as well, and he loves it too.
Yeah, I was like super close to actually just like picking up Stardew Valley because like it was getting really popular for like streamers to just try it out, and so people asked me to play it. But it's just too much on my plate already between like the Division and then like Super Hot and Hitman and Counter Strike, just all these games that just too much on my plate right now. I'll probably like try and pick it up whenever it's like in like some downtime. just a lot of new releases coming out actually. Like I was actually worried when I started this podcast that I was like gonna like not have enough upcoming releases to talk about, but it's like yeah, it's like every it's like every like week there's like another like blockbuster game that's coming out or some indie hit or whatever, which is good. Like it's always good to have more good games, but yeah, it's difficult to keep up with all of them. But speaking of games that are like right around the corner, Overwatch comes out really damn soon, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know the exact date for it, but goddamn, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna check this shit out. Alright, so come on. That's not it.
I love my Blizzard games, like TVH.
Yeah,
I started off playing Hearthstone.
Overwatch actually comes out in like 2 months. So, I mean, it's got some time on it, but we're gonna go ahead and touch base on Overwatch. Now, did you say? Oh yeah, that's right. You got invited to the beta, but you couldn't play it because you were in the middle of like, moving houses or something.
I was in the process of getting this beautiful home.
Well, what do you think just based on what you've seen?
I like it. It reminded me a bit of Team Fortress 2, honestly.
Yeah, that seems to
but
be
the graphics of Overwatch are like significantly like wow, like Blizzard in their games go all out.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, it's like, I feel like one of the most interesting things to me personally about Overwatch is like the style, and that's just because it looks like a Pixar movie, you know what I mean? And it's like super cute, it's like all the characters are like really cute. It's like even like the edgelord guy who like wears like a skull mask and a trench coat, like even he looks like a fucking Pixar like villain or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not necessarily like a good thing to me that you can like the best thing you can say about a game is that like its art style looks really good. Like personally, I'm not like really like looking forward to Overwatch too heavily. I'm definitely like gonna keep my eyes on it. Just keep watching people play it. Maybe if the opportunity presents itself, I'll try and pick it up just to play it a bit. But one of like the biggest issues with it for me is that it like it's like in a class-based shooter, like I feel like class-based shooters always succeed the most, and they're always the most fun whenever you're just like a cog in the machine. Like if you think of like how Star Wars Battlefront went from like the old games to like the reboot, it's like before you were just like a cog in the machine, and now you're like it's got like the loadouts and everything, and you can pick all sorts of different shit. But in the older game, it was like like I'm just like a regular old like infantry dude, and I just got my rifle. And this other dude, my friend over here, has like a rocket launcher, so he's going to be doing most of the damage to the objectives, but since he doesn't have anything to like shoot at like people with, I got to back him up with my rifle. But it's like it's like the same thing from like TF2 to like Overwatch, obviously made by different companies, but it's kind of like the same idea. In TF2, it's like it's like the scout can run up and capture an objective really quickly, but he's really spongy. He needs a heavy in there to help him out. Spy can get behind, it's all sorts of different shit. Engineer really good at defending, about offense,
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
It's got, like all the roles are like really split across different classes, but it's like in Overwatch, it's like every single class is like super fucking strong because every class essentially has, like a heavy hitter, like a DPS, and like an ult ability that can like kill people instantly and all sorts of different shit like this.
I think they did it more to get more people like into the game because not only is it coming out for PC, it's also coming out for consoles as well. And they're just trying to find something that like everyone could like sink their teeth into and like pick up real easy and not be like super committed to like playing a certain role.
Yeah, that's that's like the main thing is that it's not necessarily like a terrible thing, but it's just not for me, like it's just like it's just like like my like personal issues with the game is that it's like too like casual, but that's not a problem. It's like some people just want to play games casually. It's actually been like really fucking interesting how many Counter-Strike like professional players have been playing Overwatch. Like those motherfuckers play Overwatch like crazy. Like I guess that it's like, well, it's like between like Overwatch and Stardew Valley, it's like they're both, like really like relaxing and easygoing and like not very intensive, The thing is like even like the Division like doesn't really feel like that intensive to me. It's like I don't get like super
goosebumps or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like I feel like since I just play so much fucking Counter-Strike that it's like anything that's like a step down from like Counter-Strike is like, always gonna be like a little more like lighthearted for me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely going to be keeping my eye on it. Like, me and Spy both haven't played it, I wasn't really, like, digging the new Hitman I played it, and now I'm like, really like looking forward to it. So I'll try out Overwatch as well, probably sometime in the future, and we'll try and touch base on that again.
Yeah, if you know someone that's actually picked up the beta and is like paid for the game in full, they actually get a free beta code so they can invite a friend.
Yo, is there a live beta for Overwatch right now, or is the beta like off right now?
I'm not sure, but I know they'll be opening up another one, and it's gonna be an open beta.
Yeah, I'm like not
pretty
too
soon.
sure. Like, I just have to like look into that a little more.
And
Well,
one of my buddies will never shut up about it. He keeps telling me. So
well, speaking of your games being more casual than their predecessors, we have the Doom 4 reboot. Spy is really looking forward to this. I am not.
dude, I just haven't had my fill of like gore and blood since like Gears of War 3, and I see this trailer come out. I loved it. It was like I just saw it. I knew I wanted to pick it up that day.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever play like the classic Dooms? Any of them?
Briefly, I remember Xbox 360. Like if you have Xbox Live like Gold, they'll give you like a free game every month.
Right.
Doom was one of those games, and they I picked up and I played it with my brother and my cousins, and we were all having a good time, just chatting up, playing.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I haven't been a super committed fan. I haven't seen like any other previous games. Like at most, probably got like an hour or two into it. But I saw the trailer for this and I was blown away.
Yeah, it's definitely like it keeps like kind of that same sort of general spirit, but it's like a lot of the gameplay elements are like pretty different. It's like you can double jump now. There are executions. Like the pace of the game is like a lot slower. Like your movement speed like isn't necessarily as high. Um, I mean, well, Spy has really been digging like these execution animations, but I actually haven't. That's why I feel like you were a good guest to have on the show. It's because like what we like in games is like super fucking different.
I love like the executions because they're creative and they're fun. But I remember you mentioned this a while back ago. Like you see the same executions executed over and over again.
Yeah,
I feel like after a while,
like like if we just let this entire trailer play out, you'll see like some of the executions like 2 or 3 times, like just in this one trailer. And it's like if you're gonna expect people to like buy this game, pay $60 for it and play like 10, 20, 30, 40 hours, those executions are gonna get super fucking old. Like I feel like that. I actually love the executions in Gears of War 3, but that was mainly just because some of them were like actually like really rare, and you had to like work to unlock them, so you didn't see.
to grind the shit out of them to play that. Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but I really appreciate the fact that it's like you could just like shoot the it's like executing enemies just gave you like more points, but it's like most people like didn't execute people. It's like a style thing, not like an integral gameplay element like it is in Doom 4. Like I think in Doom 4 you can like restore health or some shit if you execute people, like so there's like a benefit to doing it, but it just makes it like more boring if you have to do it, and it's just the same animations.
What I'm kind of curious about this is you can execute others, but if you notice at the end of this trailer, spoilers by the way, at the end of this trailer, you actually get executed by an enemy out there. So I'm kind of curious if there's more death scenes or more death animations for you, and that might mix it up a little bit.
Well, it also seems like just how you execute, like it's like different animations have different executions. Like go figure. It makes sense. I feel like that may be like one of the primary reasons that we do see like several repeats is that in this trailer, it's just like a handful of like the same few enemies. You know what I mean? Like I would imagine that this is like kind of earlier on in the game, but who knows? I'm also not a big fan of like how they have like just the 2-weapon limit in multiplayer, but what I am a big fan of in multiplayer is that level editor. Now, making level editors simpler is gonna restrict like the amount that people can actually like edit in different game modes, but it makes room for like a lot more content. So hopefully that will like always keep the multiplayer fresh. Like I'm also wanting to try out Doom 4 just to see if like the multiplayer is any fun. Like people who have had time to play with the multiplayer do say that it's like very exciting and fast paced. We're missing arena shooters these days, guys. They're falling away. They're going the way of the fucking dinosaur. I like arena shooters.
The map creator, pretty much if you can like snap 2 pieces together, you can make a level in Doom pretty much. Like.
Yeah, it's like literally just like a top down like snap things together and like place weapons around different areas and different like health pickups. And it seems like
you made a 1v1 arena.
Yeah, it seems like in multiplayer they have all their bases covered. I don't know if there's a 1v1 mode or not yet, but I really hope that there is, because that's where we kind of see Like I feel like that's one of the main reasons that like the 2 weapon limit kind of bugs me because it's like arena shooters, like 1v1 arena shooters, like kind of hurts them if you can only have like 2 weapons, just because it's just you against one other guy, and so that means that you're only going to see like 4 weapons in play at any given moment. Um, but yeah,
You know, in the
I mean,
in the single player, you can carry like 9 or something like that.
yeah, the
Like,
single.
what the hell?
Well, yeah, hang on, there was a weapon wheel. It looked like there's 1, 2, 3, about 12. It kind of looks like 10 or 12 like different
Damn.
weapons. I mean, like maybe even if in the multiplayer they just made it like 2 weapons for like certain modes, but then they made it to where you could carry like unlimited weapons for other modes. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Just like
I'd pay
like
for that.
yeah, like in FFA and like 1v1 you just carry however many weapons, but in like domination you can only have 2. That's not a terrible idea.
I don't know. I don't know.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna, me and him both are gonna be keeping like eyes on Overwatch and on the Doom reboot. I'm gonna try and play Stardew Valley, and I'll definitely at least keep you posted on Hitman, and we'll also keep you guys posted on the Division. But for now, this is basically all we have to talk about. It's not shit to say to y'all. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming out and just listening to me ramble on with one of my friends about video games for half an hour, about 15 minutes longer than the last episode.
Bad.
Yeah, thanks a ton, Darkspy, for coming on. And
Oh no. Thanks for having me. It was nice.
Yeah,
It was nice.
yeah, it's fun. It's real fun. Yeah, but for all of you guys watching right now, check it out live. Check it out being recorded live on twitch.tv/FeverReaver. You can check it out on my YouTube channel as well, Fever Reaver there. You can check out my Facebook page, my Twitter, and my Steam community group. You can catch the link to the VOD and the live version on any of those. Also, I have a Snapchat and an Instagram at Fever_Reaver. Spy, you got any plugs? Spy streams.
Yo, let's see, Darkspy155. Catch me on Twitch. Same with Twitter, YouTube, all under the same name.
That's you.
I'm good. I doubt my mom watches video games. So
Yo,
she'll be watching.
for never quitting. She's not a quitter. She's a spitter.